Awesome. Howdy, my name's Steve Paytek, Realtor with Kentucky Real Estate Professionals, and today I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about the process of how I got started in real estate as a sales agent. So about 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was laying on my couch in probably my third or fourth apartment. I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and I think it was a weekend. I was laying on the couch, and it kind of clicked into my head. It was a day that I think rent was due I think rent was due within the next few days. And I was just so tired of paying rent. I was like, this is, it had just gone up. It had gone up a couple of times in the last 6 months. And I was like, I'm tired of paying rent. So I literally went to Google and typed in, how do I stop paying rent? Like literally. So one of the first things that came up was Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm sitting there looking at that. I knew that periodically over the course of like high school and college, people I would see the book floating around. If I remember correctly, it has Robert's face on the front. It's purple and has yellow text. It sticks out. Later, I find out that's really good marketing. But so I recognized it for from parody purposes. A lot of people like to make fun of it. I ordered the book and I sat down and I read it, and I really chewed on basically the quadrants of investor, basically investor, owner, business owner, small business, things of that nature, and residuals and cash flow and assets and liabilities. I learned about all these things, and I sat there and like I was like, holy cow. I didn't know any about any of this stuff. Even at 25, I didn't I was a I when I spoke with my banker, I had like two bank accounts, right? I obviously standardized a savings and a checking account. So I learned how to play the game, right? I learned the money game. This is like when this very first started with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I had a few people who were mentors of mine. And then once they recognized I was interested in finance, then a whole nother block of opportunity opened up where we would have financial discussions. And the game changed when I was exposed to this book and I had these thought processes and I had questions and I was looking things up. So a process, a kind of a stepping stone process started when I found Rich Dad Poor Dad because of the single question laying on my couch, how do I stop paying rent? And from there, it really is own the property, right? So after I got Rich Dad Poor Dad, I learned about assets and liabilities and cash flow and all of these other things. I had found I wanted to learn more. So I went to an event at the Sheridan, I think it's the Sheridan Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky. So at the time I lived in Richmond. Now I live in Berea, but this was about 2016, 2017. I went to this event where I would meet a now buddy of mine who lives in Arizona, but we wanted to help each other learn more about real estate. We knew nothing. I didn't know what a mortgage broker was at the time either. And a lot of people that I was around at the time were cautious about telling me. It seemed like they were cautious about telling me anything. We talk about the types of people who want to, keep you down, keep you ignorant, keep you uneducated. I don't believe in that. I believe in helping people get educated. So some of those people who didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to tell me, fine, I go find other people. So, but moving forward on that, after the event at the Sheridan, somebody else had shared the name Grant Cardone with me. And then I started following him online. I bought his book, 2016 and 2017, Be Obsessed or Be Average. I read it front to back as soon as it arrived. And then I went and started looking at his videos online. As you know, in 2016 is when Facebook first started allowing for native video uploading, right? Before that, you had to share links from like YouTube and Vimeo, and all this stuff was relatively new. Now it's 2025. This stuff is like 10 years old, or something of that nature. But on one of Grant's interviews, on one of his interviews, he said when he first got started, the biggest mistake he made when he was, just as, as uneducated, it's not bad. It's just lack of education, right? He wanted to get started. He bought a SFR, single family residence, and he recognized that it was more of a liability than it was an asset to him because of the how the cash flow model works. So, what he basically said in that interview is that he would have bought a duplex or a multifamily property instead of a single family residence, just because of how it works. So from there, I kind of got that stuck in my head is like, that's what I need to do. I probably should look at duplexes. That's probably the best way to go because you can live in half and you can have a renter in the other half and it offsets the mortgage, right? So with that, um, you know, I'm like, this is 2016. I had no idea where to get started on that stuff either. So I did the simplest thing possible is look up duplexes, right? Find them. See, I mean, just learn about them. Learn about, you know, just learn about all the variables, all the financial variables, how to just how to identify everything. My finances were in the craziest, amazing place because I had a bad habit of at the time, you know, 10 years ago of I saw something, I bought it. I saw something else, I bought it. I wanted something, I bought it. There was no discipline in that behavior. It's just I saw things, I bought them. I was commercially marketed things, and I'm like, I want that, and I bought that. And that's why I had all this. I had a bunch of crap. I had a bunch of things that go down in value, depreciate, whereas property appreciates. So this is one of the first principles I learned. Rich Dad Poor Dad brought that to my attention. Um, so I would end up selling some stuff. Yeah, there was a whole learning process, a whole learning curve, a whole new world, as Ariel says in The Little Mermaid, a whole new world. So I went through that process. It was pretty cool, actually. It was cool and shocking at the same time. But over the course of 4 years, I went on about 100 property walks. Realtors got real tired of me because they're like, he's not buying, he's not buying. Every realtor I ran into was trying to push me into buying something. They were tired of seeing my ass, and I wasn't buying anything. I just wanted to see the market. I wanted to be not just open houses. I wanted to be able to walk through an investment property and learn and see and learn and see and get exposure and exposure and exposure. So I did that. I said, to hell with the attitude some of these people are giving me. If I ever get in that position, I won't do that. That's not who I'm going to be. So moving forward, I understood that my income at the time, my debt to income ratio, I mean, I didn't really have any debt. Like I would just buy stuff for cash. Like I'd get the cash together and I'd go buy it. The issue is in the United States, you have to have credit. Credit rating is like everything. Everything. If you want to make big purchases, you have to have a credit rating. Me, I bought stuff for cash, so I was a ghost. So this is one of the first big upheavals for me, is I had to basically open up a credit card. I'd never had a credit card before, and I was advised, make small purchases and pay them off every month. Make small purchases and pay them off, pay them off, pay them off, and it was a great way to get my credit started. So I wasn't a ghost anymore. So when you have credit, right? I achieved a credit score. Like, oh my God, I've got one of the criteria. So one of the things is with debt to income ratio, it's having a credit score. It's so basically the bank, whoever is loaning you money for your mortgage, even if it's not the bank, even if you're using like a credit union or something like that, they can identify that you can be trusted to borrow money as you would need to, generally speaking, for a first-time home buyer for a mortgage. You can be trusted to borrow the money and pay it back, right? They need that credit rating that proves that you can be trusted financially to do the thing. The other part of it is like, you know, so debts, right? You assume some debts. People buy cars, people buy various other things that are associated as being assets. I have a different opinion about a car being an asset because it is in a sense because it can held as leverage, but at the same time annually it depreciates. So this is one of those things you learn. I seriously, if I'm speaking a foreign language to you right now, pick up a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I swear to God, it'll change your life. You will anyway. So moving forward, um, I had to increase my income as well, right? I had X amount of dollars, and it was like, if you could just double that, if you could just double what you're making, and of course that took time, right? Time, I had to upgrade some of my skill sets. I had to upgrade my skills so I could so at the time I could get the type of job positioning. I had to position myself with the right amount of income so that I could have credit and or debt associated, right? So and a level of income. So this is DTI, debt to income ratio. Uh, this is one of the things that the bank or whoever's out, handling your mortgage is going to be looking at, right? Do you make enough money? Do you have a good credit rating? And then you'll get what is called pre-qualified. So when I went through this process, I systematically managed intentional debt. I intentionally put myself in some debt that I could manage. And it just life opportunities handed me things, and I managed those finances in such a way that I managed intentional debt. It was give or take $5,000 to $7,000. I'll give you that. And when I needed to pay it off, done, paid it off. So, and then it really helped when I went for pre-qualification. Um, I think I got my like from to position myself to be a first-time homeowner, buying an investment property at that, being a small business owner, working on my skill sets. It took me from the time I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad to the time I bought my duplex that I live in right now, that I am in my upstairs office of my side. It took me about 5 years. So 5 years of learning process to position myself to get where I'm at now. Um, so in addition to that, I had to hustle. Those 5 years of like new knowledge, I had to hustle. I had a small business. I had side hustles that I would do on the weekend for extra money. Not I didn't do Uber stuff. I've got varied opinions about things like, Ubers and DoorDashes. Those were just kind of like those were really just coming into the picture more. My side hustle was in electronics. That's my specialty. But to not deviate too far, I made friends with my bankers. As I learned more, I opened more checking accounts, savings accounts. If you know enough about how finances work on the macro scale, getting an extra 10 cents on $1,000 or whatever, like that's garbage. That is garbage. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't like that at all. I killed all my savings accounts. For me, I know a little bit more about you know, taking my money and putting it into my side hustles. Savings accounts to me are they're cannon fodder in terms of finance, but that's just my own opinion. I'm not a certified financial advisor, so let me just throw that disclaimer out there. I am not a certified financial advisor, but I don't like savings accounts. They're just to me, I'm like I'd rather manage my cash me. And I will say that not your banker, but you will always care more about your money than anybody else. You will always care about your money more than anybody else ever will. Ever. No matter how much you pay them. You will always care more about your money. But I made friends with my bankers. I learned from my bankers. They were interested in what I was doing. I was always coming in with, checks and cash and putting it into my accounts and stuffing them full. And I'm like, yes, yes, we're moving up. We're moving up. So I wanted to learn about the unknown unknowns of money and finance. And so, like, it was a whole new thing for me. And by trade, that's not my trade. My trade is film, right? I'm a I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer. I'm a visual artist. But I kind of transitioned myself in such a way that, I moving up to the next level from like where I saw myself at like ground zero, right? I was at level zero. and I wanted to get to one. And it took about, once I got that book and I started on that trajectory, it took me about 5 years to get to level one from level zero. So this is just a positioning insight. So now as a certified real estate agent with Kentucky Real Estate Professionals, my goal is to focus on first-time home buyers. My goal is to help give, I mean, obviously, I'm not a certified I'm not a certified financial advisor. So, I have come to the understanding that I can get in trouble if I give you, if I give out like certain directional insights, advice, recommendations, and you take it and you make mistakes that hurt you financially or whatever the case might be. So, as a real estate agent, I can only make recommendations. I can give you resources. I will not tell you what to do with your money, but I can say, here's what I did, what worked for me. This is my disclaimer, okay? I'm not going to tell you what specifically to do, but I will make recommendations on what has worked for me. And I have a few trusted bankers that I work with that I can say, if this is where you're at and here's where you want to be, not everybody's like me. Not everybody wants the same things I want. And that's perfectly fine. But what I will say is I have, I have friends in bankers, friends in banking. I guess that's how I would say that. So that have been absolutely instrumental. One guy in particular has been absolutely instrumental in helping me get to the position I am now. So, but with that in mind, I just wanted to kind of introduce myself. My name's Steve Paytek. I'm a realtor with Kentucky Real Estate Professionals, and I'm here to help you walk through the process and buying your first home. I went from level zero to level one. I'm aiming for level two now. So this is me saying, if you're interested in buying your first home, I have been, in you're likely living in an apartment or something like that. I have been in your exact position. I've had a tough upward swing, but through the right, I'd say through the right channels, the right motivation, the right drive, and the right people providing me with the right resources, I've been able to get from level zero to level one. And now, as a certified real estate agent, my goal really would be to help position you with the right people, right? The right people to help you get from level zero. I mean, I don't mean to say you're zero, but level zero, what I identify, you're in an apartment and you want to get to a house, right? That's where you want to get from level zero to level one, to elevate your life in a positive trajectory. So that is where I'm at, and I offer to you as a certified licensed real estate agent. That is my goal, to help you get your first house. So give me a call, 859-544-0890, 859-544-0890, or you can email me at paytechrealestate5000@gmail.com. Again, paytechrealestate5000@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.